All right, in another rematch game on the week, just talked about the Bills and Jets, but in this one we've got the Browns and the Bengals reprising their week 2 battle here. This one in Cincinnati was a really exciting game, a really fun game the last time we saw them. Nick Chubb obviously went off, but Nick Chubb is not playing this week, so it should be a little bit interesting here. We've seen the Bengals offense kind of devolve and then reshape themselves last week against the Colts, so could be a much more exciting game than some people may think. Obviously, the Browns have had some offensive woes, but the Bengals defense has been a really good place to get your offense right. We saw even Phillip Rivers look like a competent quarterback against the Bengals defense, so I think this is going to be a good game for fantasy players. 50.5 over-under in this one. Browns favored to win this one on the road by 3, and giving them an applied point total of about 27 to 24. The Browns have been the worst and most exploitable in the receiver category, so that's good news for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. They've been average everywhere else, whereas the Bengals have been decent against receivers, but again, I think that is a little bit skewed. We saw even last week, Marcus Johnson came out of nowhere and had a good game against them. And, just based on the teams that they played, last time these guys played, Odell Beckham went off against them. And I think that, we're not really nervous about any spot of this Bengals defense at this point. So in terms of who we're starting, this is pretty easy again. We're starting Kareem Hunt. He had a disappointing game last week, but it was a much tougher matchup. We should see the Browns get back to the way of football that they want to play, which is running the ball heavily, staying in, ahead in the game, and I think they can do that here against the Bengals. Odell Beckham obviously had a really good game against them in week 2. Look for him to have a bounce back game here. Austin Hooper has been on a much better tear in terms of his consistency from the tight end spot, and tight end consistency is very hard to find this year, so you're probably starting Austin Hooper if you have him. And then the Browns defense should remain a pretty good start here. We saw them pretty much terrorize Joe Burrow the entirety of the game last time they played with guys like Myles Garrett, so should be a fun game for the Browns defense. Now, you can start Baker Mayfield if you're in, if you are on a bye week with your quarterback, or if you are still looking for a replacement here. He's an okay stream. Had a decent game against the Bengals last time. Obviously, with Nick Chubb out, they're going to have to pass a little more than they did in week 2. It's kind of hard to go back to him, seeing how poorly he performed the last couple weeks, but very tough matchups. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see what we can do here against the Bengals. Now, Jarvis Landry has been very inconsistent this year, and I'm trying to keep him out of my lineup if at all possible. Not playing Dearness Johnson, and yeah. So pretty easy on the Browns side. On the Bengals side, it's also easy, assuming Joe Mixon is playing. Now, I have the star next to Mixon and Gio Bernard. Obviously, we're recording this on Wednesday. As of Wednesday, Joe Mixon is not practicing. So that is a bit of a concern, but it is Wednesday. Wednesday, my dudes, just be calm. A lot of times, veterans will get a rest day on Wednesday, especially if they're already dealing with an ailment that they carried into the week. The biggest and most important practice day, obviously, is going to be Friday. If Joe Mixon is not practicing by Friday, that's a concern. If Joe Mixon doesn't play, I think Gio Bernard slides in as a really nice RB2 start. So hopefully you have both of them. You have a quick pivot. If you don't, you're going to need to make sure you have another option at hand. Now, if Mixon starts practicing tomorrow or Friday and looks like he's going to start, he remains a good start this week. Browns' run defense has been okay, but we saw Mixon has been able to perform the past couple weeks, even against tough run defenses. So I'm not really worried at this point. He's just going to get stronger as the season goes on. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, both of these guys have clearly been the favorite targets of Joe Burrow for the majority of the season, and looking forward to them having another good game here. AJ Green did have a good week last week, but I'm not rushing back to that. We dropped him previously, and at this point, happy for anyone that kept him and got that one good week last week. But at this point, I still feel like T. Higgins has seen an increase in his air yards, increase in his snap share, and is definitely the wide receiver 2 there. So not going to be playing the wide receiver 3 on a Bengals team. Drew Sample, I can't get myself to do it. He's been way too up and down. Yes, the tight ends had a really good showing against the Browns in week 2, But this isn't week 2 anymore, so I'm probably going to avoid Drew Sample in this one. Not going to play the Bengals defense. I think the Browns play much tighter football in this one, and the Bengals defense would be a bit of a risky play going against the Browns, even at home. I have the Browns winning this one by 3. 24-21 is my prediction. I think it will be a pretty close game. Should be a pretty fun one to watch.